Hey guys, new week of astrology. Let's get into it. This is another big one. We have some major energetic shifts playing out this week. Uranus stationing direct in the sky on Saturday, exactly 1 week from Pluto's entrance into the sign of Aquarius, which, we are in that energy now. Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. We also have a very powerful full moon coming through this week on the Aquarius-Leo axis that will be squared exactly by Jupiter. We're going to want to try not to take things over the top this week. We don't want to let ourselves sort of get all whipped up and spin out of control on some type of inspiring idea or impulse or spontaneous this, that, or the other that's coming through. We don't want to force outcomes in the energy this week. Venus is also entering the sign of Capricorn, and we also have a building Mars-Mercury conjunction in the sign of Capricorn this week. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We don't want to, force things to happen before they're ready to happen. We don't want to count our chickens before the eggs hatch, count our eggs before the chickens hatch. I can't remember what that saying is, but we kind of want to apply that this week and just do our best to stay grounded, because I'm telling you guys, very electrified atmosphere. Expect the unexpected. Don't have your bar super, super high in terms of expecting things to go a certain way, trying to control that which feels out of our control, all right? A lot of people are going to be doing that. This is probably going to be a weird week, unusual week, strange stuff happening, but Uranus, the galactic fixer, is at work, you guys, surrendering to change, but not forcing the process. That's my advice for the week. Let's get into the report. Let's talk about all these transits, all this energy, everything we have coming at us this week in our epic month of 2024 astrology. And see, how all of it might be impacting our experiences on the ground this week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, January 22nd, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me till the end of this report, I have also done a collective tarot reading for us today. I like to tap the energy field for more than one modality when I'm doing these energy overviews, just because I like to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. There could be some messages in there for you. We're starting with the astrology, and honestly, as I was getting to feel for the energy this week, I feel like by the time we get to the end of the week, we might be a little bit exhausted. Like I was saying in my intro, we kind of want to do our best to stay grounded this week and not get super whipped up on some type of idea or inspiration or just spontaneous this, that, or the other that happens, because that could be a very strong tendency in this energy. We are in literally a hypercharged electric atmosphere, and it's just very changeable, all right? Not being overly attached to outcomes or expectations this week, plans going a certain way. And like I was saying, there is just definitely this vibe of people that are kind of unconscious of how this energy is operating, grasping at trying to control that which is just entirely uncontrollable as we are transitioning out of this Capricornian energy and into this Aquarian energy, Saturn energy to Uranus energy. We've got a lot to talk about in our report today, and we are going to start our heavy focus on Uranus and on Aquarius. These are going to be major themes moving forward throughout the course of this year, and we are going to really start delving into some of that in our report today as well. But the weight has shifted. We have gone through this energetic shift this past weekend. The Sun and Pluto have entered the sign of Aquarius. Pluto is now going to be at 0 degrees of Aquarius for, a little bit of time, 0 degrees of any sign. This is a critical sign, and we really have all of the power right now of this plutonic force lighting up the sign of Aquarius. And as I said, as we move through the week this week, this Aquarian energy is actually just going to be growing. We have a full moon on the Aquarius-Leo axis, Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Leo, exactly squaring Jupiter. This is amplifying, right? All of these vibes being brought to us by this Aquarius-Leo axis full moon. And then 2 days later, we have Uranus, modern ruler of the sign of Aquarius, stationing direct in the sky. Whenever a planet stations in its motion, either retrograde or direct, this tremendously amplifies the energy levels of that planet. So we are talking about an extreme amplification going on this week of Uranus, simply as a result of Uranus's station. But then when we add in Pluto, the powerhouse of the cosmos, at 0 degrees of Aquarius, that is like, you know, full force, okay, full force Aquarius energy going on, plus the Uranus station, plus the Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Leo, full moon that's being amplified by Jupiter, the planet of expansion. Okay, very, very strong, heavy hitting Aquarius energy coming in. But like I said, there is also, you know, on the other end of this, some powerhouse Capricorn energy that is going on this week as well. Mars and Mercury coming into a conjunction this week in the sign of Capricorn. That's the messenger planet, you know, what we're talking about, what we're thinking about, ideas, information, and Mars. This could be some very hot-headed stuff going on in the sign of Capricorn still. This is about this control. This is about kind of like this almost like dominating energy. And then we've got Venus entering Capricorn this week as well, which is shifting the vibes to some extent. People are going to be, like I was saying, and I just keep feeling this vibe coming through, like having a very strong desire to control that which they feel is out of their control in the energy. And things could get weird, okay? Because so much is about to be out of our control, just sort of happening. Unpredictable, like uncertain, unstable, but nonetheless, you know, kind of like exciting, kind of overstimulating, this like hypercharged atmosphere, perhaps, you know, people acting different, like not really sure what to do in like certain scenarios, things kind of up in the air. Like that's really what, you know, this sudden and strong emphasis on all of this Uranian energy and the 0 degree Uranian energy and the station Uranus, like, is kind of, you know, bringing up, could kind of be like triggering within us and within our experiences. But then with the Capricornian Mars and Mercury, and also the Venus entering Capricorn, like there's a strong desire to like control the flow of the conversation or the flow of the information or the outcome of things, just like the way that things are going. Especially when we feel like it's like out, you know, out of our control or like out of our grip or something like that. So people, I do think this is going to be provoking some very strange behavior in people this week, which is to be expected in a Uranian, you know, dominated week as it is. Uranus is an energy that a lot of times is very spontaneous, very impulsive, and it can cause us to just need to like break free from like the monotony, okay, and like just like the normal humdrum of like our day-to-day situations. Like it causes this sort of like I don't know, like a internalized need or desire to like experience something new, do something different. And you know, Pluto right now at 0 degrees of Aquarius, this is, you know, Pluto is transformation, Aquarius is sudden and dynamic change. So, you know, this internalized, very powerful energy that is like stimulating us to do something different externally, because we're talking about Uranus stationing from a retrograde motion, which is the internalization of this energy, to the direct motion, which is the externalized flow of this energy. So it's like something stirring or awakening within us that is triggering perhaps some type of powerful awakening or transformation that is going to cause people en masse to just sort of be like needing to change it up, or, you know, just inherently finding themselves in a situation that is drastically different than maybe they were expecting or anticipating or, you know, had planned in some type of a way as a result of just kind of like being pulled along in the tides of this collective transformative and change-based energy that is occurring right now. This is going to be happening. You know, people are going to be consciously choosing to do things different, but also things are just going to be organically happening different. And again, a lot of this is likely to feel very like out of our control and there's probably going to be quite a climate of like uncertainty kind of that is either proceeding or following along behind or somehow incorporated into however, you know, experiences are coming together for us in the midst of this energy. But, you know, lots and lots of Aquarius energy, Uranian energy. And then, as I said, moving through this week, when we get to the 25th, we have this real powerful full moon that's happening in the square to Jupiter. And then on the 27th, we have the Uranus station. So all of this, you know, the rules are about to change. That's another thing that this energy is indicating to me, especially like the bridge and transition now out of the strong Capricornian energy that has defined this past generation into this new era of enlightenment that is pending and that we are moving towards now as the Aquarian energy, the Pluto and Aquarius energy gets kicked off as well. There are going to be these breakdowns and like traditional structures or institutions or authorities or government or like previously established orders of power that have been, you know, regulating and running things for long periods of time. We are going to see the breakdown, I'm telling you, in a like systemic way of these types of control systems as Pluto, you know, power has left the sign of Capricorn, control entered sign Aquarius, enlightenment, and, you know, everything to do with the future and potential and all that type of stuff, you know. So as a result of that, as a result of these breakdowns in the traditional authorities and structures and regulations and rules and all that type of stuff from the past, we are about to find ourselves moving forward into this Uranian Aquarian energy with a lot more options, but also, again, like a lot more uncertainty, a lot probably lack of stability. Capricorn is all about control, yes, but it's also all about foundations, forms, structures, stability, like things being strong and sturdy and enduring, okay? This is not where we're going. You know, while we are about to move into energy that is really going to open up unlimited possibilities and potentials, it's just not going to be as solid, stable, you know, sturdy and reliable as this more like mechanistic control system based energy that we're moving out of now. Information, though, you guys, like I've been saying, is going to gain a much higher value, and we are going to need to understand like more things generally so that we can self-govern better. Aquarius, this is also going to be an energy, you know, it is ruled by Saturn. Traditionally, it's also ruled by Uranus. There is a need for self-control, self-discipline, and not allowing ourselves to just totally get spun out of control, right? On this like rebellious, revolutionary, like future-oriented energy. And that balance is something that we are going to have to keep in mind as we, you know, learn to work with this Aquarius energy moving forward as well. And as a facet of that process of like learning how to govern ourselves better, people are going to be seeking out information and understanding much more as we move into this energy than we have or than they have in, you know, probably the past. Self-educating, seeking out this information, and there's going to be no longer like a centralized authority when it comes to news and when it comes to information and stuff like that as well. Like the whole like academia and all of that, and also like, you know, centralized news sources and stuff like that, like centralized media publications, like all of that is the Capricornian energy that we're moving out of. This is going to be a much more like decentralized way of, you know, spreading and gaining information. And I don't, you know, it's, you know, hard to tell what things are going to look like in that regard yet, but some capacity or component of it is going to include like this much higher level of value for the information that we gain, and just like a greater priority placed on our ability to understand the truth about things like for ourselves, instead of like, you know, maybe just having a general knowledge about things, but like trusting some type of expert or authority, you know, and kind of like surrendering our own intellectual understanding because we trust somebody else's understanding. You know what I mean? Like that's, I feel like, the type of thing that is not going to be such like a dominant part of the, you know, way that things are working moving forward, which again, another way of describing that would be the breakdown of traditional authority and like the, you know, the classes of experts and stuff like that no longer holding the same amount of prominence and dominance and authority when it comes to these centralized systems of like control, where, you know, all of that was the centralized version of things. Okay, we're moving from centralized everything to decentralized everything, and this shift is really going to start to gain momentum now and moving forward. But, you know, narrowing back down to where we're at Monday to start the week this week, honestly, probably, as I was saying, best not to have expectations for people. People are probably going to be all over the place dealing with all types of stuff. And if you don't have to put yourself in a position to rely on others for anything this week, I would go in that direction. I really would not, you know, again, like attached to a certain outcome, especially when it comes to, you know, plans or agendas unfolding a certain way. Things are likely to be and feel very out of control this week. Unexpected changes are very likely. Nothing going according to plan with all this Uranian energy, and things just happening very suddenly, very quickly. People could be acting reckless. People could be acting impulsive. We do have a Mars-Mercury conjunction pending as well. That also is an energy that can make people really just like reckless, acting before we think, staying grounded. Again, like I said, this energy, we do have 3 planets still in Capricorn holding us down to the ground, and with Venus there, you know, there is a desire to be more orderly to some extent. But Mars and Mercury, this is like a hothead, you know, this is just like being maybe like, you know, like I said, acting before we think about stuff. The Uranian energy, super spontaneous, super impulsive. And then we've got this big full moon coming as well, which is the square to Jupiter. People could be acting, you know, people could be acting reckless. There is this very, very powerful force of like rebellion and revolution and a need to break free from things, and an inability to like conform, and an inability to, you know, obey, okay, generally, as we are breaking free from this Saturnian, Capricornian energy. And it is, the thing is, this energy is, though, it is meant to ruffle feathers, you know, it is meant to disturb the peace. We also right now, of course, have a South Node in Libra. Like, we know that this is not a period of time where maintaining the peace, maintaining the status quo, like that's actually a thing of the past right now with the South Node's transit of the sign of Libra right now. Like, this is the time to, you know, put on our warrior gear and, you know, slay the dragons in our own life, like go on some quest to redefine ourselves, with the North Node currently in the sign of Aries in the context of all of this Aquarian energy that's coming in. Like, there is a destiny that needs to be activated. Like, there is a higher purpose for all of us right now if we can tune in and hear the call of our soul. And the more clearly that we are able to like hear that call and get in alignment, like surrender to the process and move forward according to that call, it's going to be life-changing, absolutely. But like the outcome of following the path to our true purpose, you know what I mean? Like following the path towards destiny and not running away from it and not resisting it and not avoiding it, it's gonna pay off tremendously. Like, there has been a very strong Jupiterian influence that has accompanied all of our, you know, movement from the breakdown of the control, right? The end of the Capricornian era, and moving into this Aquarian age. Like, the progress that we're making, the transformations underway, like there is like it's almost like blessings are promised once we go through this process, but the process of getting there is likely to be somewhat of a hero's journey, right? With the North Node right now in the sign of Aries also coming into a conjunction with Chiron coming up here. There is, you know, we are on a path to, you know, realize and activate our destiny, but it is perhaps a treacherous journey to get to that point. But the lessons that we learn and who we will find ourselves to be at the end of that are definitely going to be, you know, worth it on a soul level as well. These are like soul upgrades, okay, that we're moving towards. We're breaking karmic cycles and we are being released from perhaps, you know, things that have been going on generationally to, you know, to upgrade, okay, to become more, as at this point in time, everything in the cosmos is moving forward. We're being pulled over time back into like this new golden age energy, coming closer into contact with the emanations of the galactic center, awakening from like our soul's slumber, awakening to, the true spiritual truths of this reality, gaining a greater understanding of the realities of the cosmos and our role in them. Okay, that's all coming throughout the course of the next 2,000 years as this age of Aquarius acts as a bridge from a lot of this darker age energy that we've been caught up in for the past 12,000 years, and we begin to once again proceed, upwards towards, like I said, the more golden age energy over the course of this next 12,000 years, as we are always operating within the context of these grand cosmic years, these 20,000 year or 26,000 year cycles, half of which is descending, half of which is ascending. We have crossed the threshold into the ascending energy. We are moving, we are moving closer back towards the galactic center, and as a result of that, a lot of things are going to be being activated, and it's going to be reflected in terms of the Aquarian age that is coming up here over the course of the next 2,000 years. So there's me like zooming way out again, but let's bring it back, okay, back to where we are at as we are starting this week. I also am expecting, and I guess this is just another more existential thing that I'm talking about, but it just is coming into my mind. I bet that we also see, as we move forward through this period of time, the emergence of some very powerful figures that are embodying and representing these Aquarian energies, Aquarian archetypes rising to prominence as well, bringing powerful messaging. That's another thing that we're going to start, and I've been talking about this, something about information is about to gain significant value, gain significant power in the context of at least the way that we have related to or viewed information in the past. And also air sign people who are strong in air sign energy, they're all going to be empowered throughout this period of time on the mental plane, okay? The messengers are being activated in this energy with Pluto now in the sign of Aquarius as well, and people are going to start speaking up as a component of that. Like, people are going to begin finding their voice, and it's not just air sign people. We all have air signs strong. We all have 3 air signs in our chart. We all have the air energy, and so like it's more like wherever air energy plays out for you naturally in your natal chart, like these are the houses or the areas of life, or if you've got planets or stelliums like in those signs that are going to be empowered as we move through this period of time. And the air signs, of course, this is the communication, information oriented areas of life and energies and archetypes that just naturally inherently exist within us. So people are going to, again, like start speaking up. You're going to see sides of people, moving through this week and moving forward into the future that you never knew existed. People are going to detach with also the South Node in Libra right now. This is a process that's been ongoing, but I feel like is really going to start kicking into gear more so as well. Detach from who they've always been and begin this process of radical transformation in some very unrecognizable ways. People who have always been a certain way, I'm telling you guys, are going to become like unrecognizable as we proceed forth in this very transformative energy that is supporting dynamic change. So expectations, again, and it's not, I'm talking about, having expectations for things, people, situations, plans this week, probably going to set you up for some type of disappointment, but also just going forward. If people are in the process of going through these radical transformations and changes, we are very foolish to have any expectations based on what and who we thought we knew in the past. These are not going to be reliable. The patterns are changing, right? Aquarius is very much an energy about breaking karmic cycles that have held us and attached us to, certain ways of beings and patterning from the past. This is when all of a sudden, things have always been predictable and reliable and operating according to certain rules and certain systems, but all of a sudden the rule in the system breaks down, and we no longer can rely on like the patterning and the expectations set from the past to determine the future course and outcome, especially, you guys, when it comes to other people, and also, of course, when it comes to, you know, things at large, government at large, institutions at large, economies at large, you know, academia at large. Like, all of these centralized power sources are not going to be operating in a predictable fashion moving forward either. Unpredictability is the new predictability. Lack of control is the new control, okay? So, it's going to be an adjustment, and we're going to need to adapt. And of course, you know, it's just going to be weird. It's probably just going to be weird times, and it's probably just going to be this weird week. Monday could be a strange day. You know, on Monday to start the week, let's talk about some more aspects other than just all the big stuff. We do have a Gemini, late degree Gemini moon going on Monday. The moon will square Neptune. You guys know how I feel about Neptune squares. And the moon will also oppose Venus. Things could be a little fuzzy, non-linear, like non-corporeal. Whenever we got Neptune squares going on, we can be in like a bit of la land. And with the Venus opposition as well, we are going to want to be careful not over idealizing things, okay? Venus is at 29 degrees, very last degree of Sagittarius on Monday, and the moon is an exact opposition while also squaring Neptune. I feel, again, like this is emphasizing sort of the ungrounded nature of the energy. Things will ground out slightly tomorrow when Venus enters the sign of Capricorn. Again, this is a desire for some type of order or some type of stability in the midst of perhaps this more chaotic energy that's percolating right now, okay? But we need to not allow ourselves to get carried away over idealizing ideas specifically, also people, also relationships, or the potential of something. Now, this is something I kind of want to talk about for a minute. As I was doing my notes today, this concept kept coming up, and I was just, you know, I'm like, okay, this must be something that is relevant right now, especially as we're just getting started in this Aquarius energy. And it's something that we have to understand, okay? One of the inherent problems, or just things that can be, you know, a little bit tricky about the Aquarius energy, is this concept of potential that is inherent within the Aquarian archetype, because Aquarius is an energy about the future that hasn't happened yet, but, you know, changing things in such a way so that that future can eventually come to pass. So when we have a very strong Aquarian Uranian energy going on, a lot of times it gives us a palpable like aptitude or a strengthened ability to actually like see the potential of something before it actually happens, or to see the highest expression or the highest capability of something before that thing has in any way manifested or come to fruition at all, before it has arrived at that point. The problem with this is, though, and what is not so obvious in the context of this energy that helps us to see the future potential, is that it does not, I feel like, assist us in seeing the process that leads to that potential. So it's like you can be presented with a scenario, and it's like you can see the highest potential, the highest possible outcome of that scenario, which a lot of times can cause us to want to like jump head first into that because we see what it could become. But what we're not seeing is, you know, the problems and the flaws and the process and the current reality in the context of all that needs to happen to that raw whatever it is in order for that potential to be achieved or arrived at, okay? If we are viewing things through the lens of potential with this Aquarian energy but overlooking the process, then we can set ourselves up for difficulty and failure by aligning with a future that does not yet exist in its current form. You know what I mean? So basically, you know, what I've come to find a lot of times that can happen in this energy, it causes us to like jump the gun about stuff and then attach ourselves to things that are not yet what they could or would or should or will be, which a lot of times can actually have the counterintuitive effect of causing some type of like self-sabotage on our part, because we are attaching to an outcome that is not there yet and acting as if that outcome is the reality, when in reality, the reality is something far inferior, okay, to that potential that we are viewing and aligning with, okay? So we have to be able to recognize potential for potential, okay? But we also have to be able to recognize current reality for current reality, and we cannot attach to things based on their potential. Even if you can see the whole thing playing out, you know, even if you can see it in all of its shining glory, before we can't attach to that potential before the process of evolving towards that potential has either been, you know, chosen and decided upon or actually acted towards. Moving into the energy this week, that is sort of what this feels like, which is why I'm bringing this up with this Gemini moon, opposite Venus, squaring Neptune. It's like over idealizing potential. It feels like being kind of like hyper stimulated by an inspiring idea, or by, you know, this excitement that could, of something that like could be, or just this like, you know, this very over idealized perception of things that could potentially be happening. And people are probably going to be, especially with the Mars Mercury energy as well, like very excited about it, very overstimulated about it, like prematurely acting right before we really think things through. Plus this very electrified, like whipped up Uranian energy, and all of this emphasis on like ideas and conversations and creation. And again, like this potential about what could be. And another dimension of the Aquarian energy and the breakdown of the, you know, the rules and the limitations is also a breakdown in the inhibitions that may have regulated behavior previously and in the past. Okay, so people are going to feel more free to be themselves, to be innovative, to be unique. And I really feel like a lot of people are likely to be kind of just like very hyper stimulated or taking things over the top. Remember, we've also got this big full moon, Aquarius Leo, coming up in the square to Jupiter, really overestimating maybe, again, the potential or the value. It's like the shift happens and we're like gung-ho, like really fired up about, you know, what could be going forward. But, and this is what I was saying earlier, we cannot feel this energy that is coming in right now and want to be like the force that makes it happen, okay? We need to realize that although we are in the energy of this very powerful dynamic change and transformation, we cannot force the potential to come into fruition before the organic process takes place. Aquarius, Uranus, this 2,000-year period right now is about removing blockages to organic growth that have prevented things from aligning properly, unfolding properly in accordance with like the cosmic blueprint, higher plan of God and creation, you know, in the past, you know, up until this point in time. And trying to prematurely force things, force the future into fruition in this energy, like that's also not the vibe. That's also like the hold over actually Capricorn vibe, that I feel like people are going to be, well, you know, not everybody, but a lot of people could be just like unconsciously acting out as a facet of this like bridge from that energy into the new energy that's coming in. Uranus is the galactic fixer, right? Uranus puts things right. Uranus brings these tides of change, and we move with the tides of change. We don't force them to move according to our will. And I think that that's sort of going to be a little bit of an internalized struggle that people are dealing with over this period of time, which is why, you know, I'm bringing this up and emphasizing this. Again, the Mars Mercury in the sign of Capricorn, that's like forcing an agenda, okay? And then with Venus there as well, like we want it to happen according to, you know, a plan that we feel like is in some way unfolding like in accordance with our own personal like control or desire or something, somehow a desire to control and dominate out of the recognition of a true lack of control and lack of ability to self-regulate. I think that's going to be a projection. So strange times, I expect strange behavior. and also people having a lot of powerful realizations, again, like very powerful ideas, and we want to stay grounded this week. Sabian symbols coming through to start our week on Monday. We have the sun at 3 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a deserter from the Navy, stands suddenly aware of a dawning truth. Freedom is never a result of compromise. And then we have the earth at 3 degrees of Leo, a woman having her hair bobbed, gaining deeper awareness, deeper understanding, revelations about things that could be quite life-changing for us, honestly. Themes about truth, themes about freedom, drastic changes also that we are making to move ourselves forward somehow and to like adjust to the times ahead or what we feel like is incoming now. So, you know, we're going with the flow of the transformation. We are getting in alignment with the path that universe seems to be moving us down right now. And we're having faith, you know, even if it seems totally uncertain or very uncomfortable, like that is a sign that Uranus is functioning in your life. And we really need to have faith right now. And we also, the mind is going to be a very powerful tool moving forward, you guys. We need to consciously expect positive things to happen. We need to keep our mind focused on what we want to create, and we need to not allow our thoughts to be force propelling us towards, you know, like our fears or situations that we would rather have not unfold. You know, where our mind goes, you know, that's what is going to grow, especially now that we are in this very powerful air element energy moving forward through the course of the next, you know, 20 years. So that's what I have to say about the astrology today, you guys. As we are opening our week this week, unusual week, you know, times of big change, and the more that we can, you know, look forward to these days with excitement and, again, expectation of blessings and positive things and positive momentum and positive growth, that is what is going to be reflected back to us. So that's what I have to say today, you guys, about the astrology. Let's talk about the tarot cards for a minute. We had a pretty simple tarot message come up today, and it is to be expected in the times that we are in. We really only had one card come out of the deck in my shuffle today, and it was a 4 of Wands in reverse, and then we have a Queen of Wands on the back of the deck. This is 4 of Wands in reverse. I mean, a 4, this is about stability, right? This is about you know, balance. This is about solid structures. The foundations could be shaking. Things that we had confidence in and that seemed committed and certain could experience some type of, you know, like switch up, change up, sudden or unexpected shift or twist or something like that. It could have to do with family. It could have to do with home. It could have to do with relationships. It's just the status quo generally is likely to, you know, just have some shaking and quaking going on this week. But with the Queen of Wands on the back of the deck, this to me is that like thinking outside of the box energy. This is harnessing our intuition. This is harnessing our creative energy. And this is using those things to feel empowered despite, you know, whatever might be shaking in the ground under our feet or whatever shifts and foundations or, you know, our very reality might be going on. We need to trust that we actually have the power to create. I mean, under that, you know, we have a new beginning. We've got the Page of Pentacles. Like, we actually do have the power to create this whole new beginning that can grow into anything that we make it, based on the creative power that we, you know, channel into it, and our belief in ourselves and our ability to see ourselves as powerful in our own process of life and creation, okay? And I've been talking about this, you know, with Mars, or I keep calling it Mars, but I'm really talking about Aries, North Node Aries right now, the North Node the sign of Aries. This is the time for us to be sort of like our own knight in shining armor and the hero in our own story, and, you know, pull ourselves out. We're rescuing ourselves in this energy, and this whole process, Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius, like, this is power to the people. This is decentralized power. This is empowering the individual through this era of enlightenment that is coming through right now, and awakening to, you know, our creative potential and our ability to be this like self-empowered force for propelling ourselves forward and creating this whole new beginning, that, you know, we are also in this energy of endless possibilities. So hyper novelty is where we're going, you guys. You know, the breakdown of the stability of the past, but opening simultaneously us up to these endless possibilities and this endless creative potential. And we are now, you know, on one hand, this Saturn Uranus, like, we have to be responsible for, but we're also the generators of sky being the limit, okay, moving forward as we go through this process of aligning with our highest potential and activating destiny, which is what this Aquarius energy wants to bring in fruition. We might not be there yet, okay, but we are going to see the potential. We can't force the process. We don't know what the process of evolution to that point necessarily holds, but we can do our part to begin in, you know, any way that we can, embodying and doing our best to, you know, start reflecting these changes, you know that we need to go through in order to get to that final destination. So I'm gonna stop talking. That's what I have to say about the tarot, the astrology. We're gonna get one more card now, a synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. What is one final additional piece of I cannot talk, advice or guidance that is gonna work in our favor this week? And we got two cards, you guys. You know, you are protected, right? And look at this one. Think of good. That's what I was just talking about in terms of how we need to gear our mind and our thought energy, because thoughts become things. All right, moving into this Aquarian energy. Think of good. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life. Proverbs 10:11. As you continue to think on whatsoever things are true, lovely, noble, and of good report, you will gradually change the negative patterns of your thought. You will become aware of a gradual change and think constructively based on what you know to be right and good. This is, you know, very, very powerful advice moving through this period of time, because thoughts, like I keep talking about, there is this power in terms of the way that mental energy is functioning, and it's going to become a much more powerful force for like creative manifestation in the world than it has been as we've been moving through, you know, the not Pluto Aquarius energy, okay? And then we have you are protected, all right? For he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. Psalms 91:11. Know your guardian angel is with you always, protecting you from harm. Be assured he keeps you safe when fear overwhelms you. Read the 91st Psalm in its entirety and rest assured you are protected. We need to move out of fear-based thought systems. We need to really work hard to think of good and change the way that we are using our mind, and not let our mind, you know, escape down into like the negative recesses and the shadows of things anymore. We've got to really develop our mind muscle in such a way that it is promoting our highest good and not sabotaging our efforts right now. And, you know, this is telling us you are protected, okay? We need to have the faith moving forward, even if things feel uncertain, even if, you know, everything's crazy, even if we feel like we can't rely on anything anymore. What we can rely on is this process right now of this cosmic blueprint that is unfolding in such a way that is moving us towards our butterfly era, okay? I know it's kind of like cliche to use the metaphor of, you know, caterpillar, butterfly. It's like the standard metaphor for transformation, but it's just so true right now. It really is. It's got to be really terrifying, you know, the process of the caterpillar going into the cocoon, because he doesn't know what's going to come out the other side. But, you know, the butterfly, I was saying this in my report from the other day, that butterfly, you know, once it comes out of that cocoon, it never wants to go back to, you know, life on the ground, you know, crawling in the dirt with all of those legs. Like, it's this beautiful creature that can fly. It's like hyper novelty, right? No longer abiding by the rules and the traditions and the ways of being that defined the life up until this point in time. We're going from the earth element to the air element. So it really is kind of like a perfect metaphor for the way that things are going right now. And once we get to our butterfly era, you guys, we'll be glad that we're there, and we're not going to be regretting the things that had to transpire in order to get to that place. So That's what I have to say today, you guys, opening this very dynamic week of energy and astrology. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested in narrating the shift of the ages with us. Leave me comments. Your comments are very valuable to me, you guys. Talk about information holding value. The information that you guys provide me really does hold a lot of value to me. I appreciate you guys so much. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And of course, as always, if you have, things to say or life experiences going on right now that are lining up with what I'm talking about, please let me know in my comment section below. Valuable data. Thank you guys so much. If you want to know what's on this here whiteboard over here, I do have a Facebook page where I post those linked in my description box below. Jana Shallman, creator of the Synchronicity cards, also posts the daily Synchronicity cards in that Facebook group as well. So if you're into any of that, that's where you will find it. Come back with me, you guys, on Wednesday. The next video out will be for the full moon in Leo and the square to Jupiter. And then the video this weekend will be about Uranus stationing direct. We have a jam-packed week of astrology. You should definitely come back with me. I will be here to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful opening to your week. And until next time, bye.